Good evening and welcome, free enterprise fans. My name is Dathis. I am back in the booth and I am here with Scythe Marshall as my co-commentators. Hey, Scythe, how we doing today, buddy?
I'm pretty good. How are you, Dathis? Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. It's nice to be back and nice to be in another one of our fantastic community races. A one that has a lot of a different style than what I've been used to. We're used to seeing like full five parties and everything like that. Now we have forced key items and we have minimum part or maximum party 3. The flags have just kind of gone wild over the last little bit, and I am 100% here for those.
Yeah, this flag set's really fun. So Esgrunt, one of our featured racers, built this flag set. He's actually running an async club based on this flag set, and basically your job is to take edge and go through the checks as quickly as possible. Realistically, you don't need more than edge. Well, maybe you want an anchor. The seal cave is an objective, and that spot's pretty speedy. So you can't just anchor with edge and have it be fine. You're gonna need to worry about it a little bit more than that.
Oh, absolutely. Your overworld is basically where you get all of your power, and we're going to find all the basic key items because we also have just K main on as well. So there's no summon monsters, there's no moon bosses that are going to be required aside from. Actually, yeah, none whatsoever, unless you want some bonus experience. Aside from that, yeah, there's no reason to do anything but the blue planet here.
Yep. So I raced this flag set on Monday. It was a thing. It was a thing. Because these seeds are somewhat quickly completed, any mistake sort of gets amplified. So it'll be really interesting to see our runners sort of make the minute adjustments to get advantages here and there over some of our other racers. Do you know how many racers are in our race tonight, Dathis?
Oh, let me take a quick little look there. We have a total of 17 racers tonight, alongside of
Wow.
our 4 that we have restreamed. So yeah, this is going to be really hotly contested. What was the average finish time, if you remember, from the Monday race? I'm kind of curious to how fast this is really going to be.
That's a good question. I think it was somewhere around an hour. I could check.
Man, I'm here back for my first time in comms, and we have jet seeds.
Surprise!
I am very much on brand tonight. I'm super here for this. Also, additionally, as pointed out by chat, we do have our Naruto Edge palette, and let us get a little bit of the weebiness for the overworld checks. This is going to be, again, Edge with just the basic weapons. He's going to make very short work of a very not long seed, as the ninja is going to be showing up his true power.
Yeah, true power in less than an hour was the average finish time. The winner, Jay Brun, finished in about 51 minutes. So it'll be really interesting to see how quickly it goes tonight.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the really nice thing about this is that again we're looking at some of the good ones to get. Sealed caves you mentioned for the underground, always a favorite. I am always a big fan of the vanilla darkness crystal and vanilla evil wall bear. Probably my favorite combination when one of the two are there, because we know how much people love seeing the vanilla when it kicks up.
That's fair. Vanilla's pretty nice. What would make this pretty spicy is if we had a somewhat rude boss at the evil wall spot. Something that casts a lot of magic. We'll see. It might not be... Let's see. I think Freedom Kit does have some veils, so we'll see what happens. I think we're about to get underway shortly, actually.
Yeah, it looks like the runners are just about to get off on their run. And here we go. We're about to
There we are.
see the magma key that we're going to be started. I'm going to see who our secondary character is. Oh, we
Yay! I
wanted
like
an
your
anchor.
idea. And there's the magma key. Wonderful.
Yeah, again, it was the forced magma start, which is really nice. So the entirety of the blue planet is their oyster. which is pretty fantastic. And we know at least a couple of runners in this race right now who are kind of unhappy to see that secondary character. Also, shout outs to our wonderful restreamer Harumph for rolling this fantastic seed. And additionally, we have our tracker who is excuse me, who is Fiery Blizzard. So shout outs to them for going to keep us honest while we see Grunt jumping right back down, PK jumping underground, and Rybon and Y2 Sky both going to see what goodies Troya has.
You always love to see really early divergence.
It is very interesting. Also, correction from chat for me, because this is a flag set. Again, I apologize. I'm still warming up to. Magma Key is the only underground access, so the hook is going to be underground somewhere.
Well, technically, you are guaranteed the Magma Key. I think it doesn't have to be. The hook doesn't have to be underground. It could be there, but you're guaranteed magma. Now, this Earth Crystal, on the other hand, this is a big meme.
And a big fan of Party Rock and raiding the treasury.
Now, that Avenger's going to go well for that cane that Escrunt's about to get.
Protect Ring, I saw a Rune Axe, which is good for some mage bosses. Actually, that is a solid, I think, 7 out of 10 considering what we had, but I'm great here with this treasury check. PK, and we got even some blitz whips for all the elemental whips for Rydia. She can definitely do a little bit of damage, even though you're going to want to mostly keep her on the ground, it looks like.
Well, yeah, Rydia, when Rydia stays up, she might be able to do some damage. She's fallen down for Escrunt's side. Escrunt trying to get through Mylan's Head at the, I think that's the karate spot. A little bit scary. There we go. He's through.
Quick dart makes use of it. That's a scary, it's a scary attack spot if you're not used to the physical shot. But yeah, look, we saw a strength rank. We got a tower key there too. We got all sorts of goodies. But yeah, there's just a whole bunch of all these good things, and in that treasury, that's going to be for pretty much everyone.
Well, PK's found the Warrior's chest in the Fame Arch, so he'll be running back down. And meanwhile, we have a Troya shop check. We have launching the hovercraft all over the place today.
The really interesting thing, I don't know if you saw that on Rybon's screen, but he went and checked the weapon shop, and that is access to a pair of mute daggers for Edge. So even if we don't find anything half decent for him, we don't no longer need that Rune Axe. Edge is going to be tearing up any mages that we find. Y2 Sky making use out of what we have for Rydia's random spell, and we have Goblin Paunch.
Imp is maybe not what you want to see, but it is a spell.
Also noted, there is a Mira and Elven Bow in the underground. This Fame Arch, there is just copious amounts of fantastic loot, and I'm back, and I'm 100% here for my first touch of vanilla. Vanilla Edge against King Queen Evelyn here on Mount Hobbs.
Well, you mean Yang, but yes.
Yang, sorry.
It takes time to get back into vanilla. It's fine. We see Hourglass 2s in the Fame Arch shop. Those will be useful.
Yeah, we've still got a couple of free bosses that could make very liberal use of those with. We have the Baron guards, we have the Typho guards. Depending on where they're hiding, can be very, very scary, or could just be a nice little quick Hourglass 2, knock them out, and all good. Overall, the loot down there, not too terrible. I did not catch what our dwarf is.
I would have to go back and check. It was self something. Oh, speaking of those mute daggers, bye, Ashura.
How do you like that nice 2k couple of K pop right there? Really quick check. And we have a package for yet another character for our 3-person party. Really interesting. And
Rybon resets
just says, you know what? No, I don't care about what the other character is. I kind of agree. That's a long check for a Jedi style seed. And the only character you're kind of hoping that for is what? Cecil, maybe?
Probably. But then you would have to do ordeals. And Raibon doesn't have exit. I don't think he picked an exit up either. So it's just pure time save to reset out.
Yeah, that is very true. It's, well, again, as you said, long walk out. But your three characters here that Escrunt has, I kind of agree is what you're going to be kind of going through and can kind of take you through the seed of what we've got. If we can find Bacchus anywhere, Bacchus plus Drain Spear means as long as Kane doesn't die in one hit, he's probably going to be taking you through whatever edge can't.
And I like Silk Webs in Dwarf Castle for PK. Bought one of those and as well as an illusion. So I think it's really you want to make efficient use of your J items because they can really turn a fight around. Especially Seal Cave, right? You want something that'll help make that fight, because that's the hardest fight you're going to do. You want to do something to make that fight much more manageable.
Absolutely, and with no white mage as of just yet, any way that you can slow down and manipulate the ATB that you can, you're going to want to jump all over that. And yeah, we've also got weapons for if we see to pick up the Yang. We do have a couple of poison claws. I think I saw a cat claw at some point. I could be mistaken. There's a whole bunch of stuff there. We had Y2 Sky take a look, see those illusions, say, maybe later. Takes a little bit of away from it, but is going to grab everything else. The free Hourglass, too, is, I think, the best part of, I guess, with the Murasame. Again, very good options. And honestly, the shops are kind of putting out.
Pretty good shops. Unfortunately, PK is going for some reasonably high tier loot. T Wildish Sylph Cave loot's pretty good, but there are also many trap chests. So PK's found 2 of them so far.
Yeah, it is very much a gamble. I think it's maybe 20 chests and 7 of them are trapped, I think is the
Yeah, it's something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so you're gambling with about a 1 in 3 chance on average to find a trap chest. Also, I didn't really fully see what was in the bottom hidden treasury in Land of Summon Monsters. We have a Stardust and we have a Ninja Hat. You have agility
There was a
issues.
Sork Robe, I think.
Oh, there's a Sork Robe there as well too, yeah. Which there's, again, the goodies just can't stop. They just don't stop coming. And we have, Y2 Sky actually taking the Artemis Bow and just tossing it for a couple of coffins, I guess. Yep. I will say the one thing about this flag set right now that I'm noticing, this is a lot of divergence from what we normally see. We've seen people retrace each other's steps afterwards, but just like the divergence, you usually see like maybe 2 people above ground, 2 people below, and that's really about it. But this is, I think, the most divergence we usually see. 4 different areas being explored at the same time.
Yeah, there's kind of all over the place, which makes sense. We're looking for anything to really get our team started, and there's a lot of places to do that. In particular, some edge weapons, right? I think we found a Mura. Maybe you want something to go with it. Mute knives are pretty good. But I think at this point, that Avenger and the Cane, they should be getting going in terms of sort of starting to blow through our objectives. The problem with the objectives is that they all require key items. This is a key item heavy seed. So eventually they're going to have to start doing those checks.
Yeah, and it is very, very interesting. You'd figure maybe we do a little bit of the overworld checking or grab one of the 2 characters that we know we have, such as, again, we have both the Edge and the Yang. The Edge and the Cane and the Yang, who are both great physical fighters and can kind of handle the early checks as well. You'd figure you'd kind of jump on one of them the second you could, and then just roll through some of these starting checks, because you're really looking for mostly Rat Tail Hook and Baron Key right now. And Pan, I guess.
Yeah. So we see, Esgrunt going straight to Dwarf Castle as a check. Finds a Sparkle. What it'll be?
Oh no,
No.
not in that spot. Thank you very much.
Nope. Goodbye.
So, a lot of people don't know this. This is one of my favorite facts. With the boss shuffle, obviously the stats from that location are taken. No one really knows how much physical attack is in that spot because usually you take out the dolls all at once. And when you get that big doll, it can kind of swing for the fences a little bit, especially if you're not ready. And if you're taking a base level edge, he's kind of ready, but he's also not ready for the smacks that can come from a double big wave and then a hit from that. That's a no bueno, and I agree with that reset.
Yeah. And that spot is pretty slow, but not so slow that you can't, that you can sort of tank all of that. This was a good choice. Meanwhile, PK managed to make his way back up to Shield 1, and Shield gave the Baron key, so that was one of our required key items. Rybon is on his way there, I think. Also to note, I believe that was a Twin Harp in the Fame Arch freebie chest. Do you remember?
It absolutely was a Fame Arch freebie of a Twin Harp, and we know that our restreamer is not going to hide anything behind it because he's less than thrilled to see it, but PK, on the other hand, might be doing the good old double dip here, but I mean he will because he's going to see that nice perfect pathing with the free Earth Crystal here. So you go Twin Harp into Earth Crystal, drop right off of the Baron key. This is just like the router's relish dream right here. Yeah, you see him mashing those buttons. He's excited. He's like, I'm going.
Yep, just a quick little treasury check, jaunt down to Cave Magnus, do that check. The only thing you don't like is that you don't have an exit caster. But I don't know. Did you see exits in a shop anywhere?
As a matter of fact, I did, and PK did pick some up.
There you go.
In Fabul, there are exits for sale. So, thankfully, we do have that little aspect there.
There you go. That's the routing.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying. We have a fantastic bit of route there. If we were to keep Rydia up, we do have an apple for her. And look at PK, even using an exit right here just for a little swag. I love it.
So we see Esgrunt in the Super Cannon room. Found the Baron guards. Oh, Edge was the only person who survived, but I guess that's okay.
I mean, again, with those mute knives and the Baron guards being classified as mages, quick work, a little bit of XP, not gonna be a big detriment here, because you're kind of gonna be going from here. Maybe you go check what's up top, or you just take this one key item and run.
Yep, he is running. There you go. It's not a bad play. It would have been nice to get Kayn a little bit of jumpstart XP, but it'll be okay.
Yeah, that's the issue there. Is Kayn with no XP is, again, about as useful as this Rydia anchor, and in fact, technically Kayn's going to be more beneficial as an anchor because we do have that Drain Spear to really augment his speed, whereas if we got the Heroine Robe plus the Artemis Bow on Rydia, she could put out okay damage with a few levels under her belt. But,
yeah, that's fair. I do like that Avenger, though. I like the Avenger on Kayn.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, and so if you have the Avenger, even Rydia with some levels is a perfectly fine anchor. I think you do care a little bit about your anchoring, at least, well, closer to the end of the seed.
And we have ourselves a Sand Ruby. So, terminating key item there, so nothing really fun afterwards. But looks like Grunt is gonna go check out what that is, because again, that could be one of our accesses to a Cecil, which even a base level Cecil is kind of something you're gonna want. He's gonna be putting out okay damage, and Cecil with the Avenger is gonna be a little bit better than Kayn, but we have our boy Eddie with no spoon, sadly.
Unfortunate. Also somewhat unfortunate is this Pale Dim. So get your slow emotes out in chat. I know we have some of those.
The nice thing about this, though, is that the physical attack power is fairly, as you see, fairly low. Edge is taking a hit, no problem. So he's going to just kind of take the hits, be fine. Kayn's going to be able to put out really good damage with him. So 9,000 HP in this spot, really quick to chew through.
All right, Y2 Sky is following Rybon up Zot. And we see S Grunt also going to Troya. Let's see, where is he going? Oh, I'm going to do some shopping first.
Yeah, Grunt hasn't seen the goodies that are in here. We have Cure 3s, we have Mute Daggers, we have everything you need for a Mageless Seed. White Mageless Seed, I suppose.
Poor Rydia is, I don't know, the 4th best white mage in the game.
5th, Cure Potions exist.
Alright, so PK is head. Woo! Ninja swords in the Baron shop for PK. He is selling the farm to buy 1 ninja sword.
I honestly really agree with that. At Ninja Sword plus Mirasame, and then you are perfectly fine with your Edge gaining a couple more levels, and he's just going to put the hurt on anything you can see. Yeah, look at that damage. 135 attack power, and we are ready to go. And we're even gonna teach Sylph to Rydia. So we've got our heals, we've got our DPS. We have pretty much the seed set now. Like, PK is super ready to go. Speaking of, Rybon's ready to go get that one fight done, while Y2 Sky is about to find out the, I guess, good news on how easy of a fight he's about to find.
Well, when you have 5 Drain Spears...
Yeet.
Poor Kane. Woo. So PK found at least 1 Siren. I don't remember. Did you see him buy one or pick one up?
I want to say I saw one in a shop, but I could be
You can't see them in shops. It's S no Siren. So he must have found one. Fortunate. So that's going to really get Rydia up and running, and actually make her into the 4th best white mage. Meanwhile, in Zot, we have a Palom, Quack Kid, and a Sid. I don't know if you want either of those.
Let's see. So we have Sid. Definitely, I wouldn't be taking. Quack Kid, like as nice as he is, you're kind of wanting to more go on the anchor for Rydia here versus anything else. Like I said, it's either going to be the Yang Edge or the Kane Edge show, and with that Avenger, I almost certainly see everyone as, I think we do have everybody going, hey look, Evil Wall, you're far from home. I do mostly think we're going to see the Kane Edge show.
Yeah, that sounds pretty correct. Looks like Y2 Sky has 2 Sirens, so we'll be interested. It'll be interesting to see when he chooses to pop those.
I like what PK did, the fact that he popped a Siren and then went and did probably the second hardest check in this section, because you have to do the 2 boss fights back to back with a very limited squad. And again, limited healing. So this is probably the best play. He gets the good good news of this Ogopogo here. Throwing that Drain Spear is going to do a good chunk of it, though.
And he's already got Kane with Avenger on. So I think this fight, given the anchoring situation, is over. I think PK can stop inputting and it'll be fine.
Oh, absolutely. Kane popping out 1,000 damage. He probably could even just hold A at this point. Speaking of, Rybon getting through that fight very handily. Had to use a Cure 3 pot, but Kane still dishing out good numbers with the Avenger. We are going to see what's been hiding at the top. And yeah, PK, great short work of this fight here. Couple levels on everybody. And the important thing is who this extra character is. And oh, Y2 Sky, speaking of, picking up the Palom.
I mean, if you think you're going to do ordeals, or you've got the Sirens, that is Quake. That's a very fast Quake.
That is very true. We have some harps that we're not going to see. And it looked like it was adamant at the top of Zot. So basically just your objective completion and nothing really fantastic. We do have a Dark Elf here in the 2nd spot. This is kind of an okay thing, because it's low HP and gonna be put down, and yeah, already changed forms by the time I'm finished even talking about those.
Yeah, not a particularly threatening fight, especially with Avenger Kane. It'll punch once and then the fight's over.
Pretty much. Rybon also seeing all the goodies that we have in this shop, the ninja sword and even headbands, which aren't bad, but the other armor we found has been very beneficial. PK gonna give us a look at a key item while we have S-Grunt and Rybon. Actually, Rybon giving us another brand new check in this Baron Castle.
Makes sense. It is an objective. Remember, do your objectives, folks.
Yeah, Y2 Sky confirming that is in fact an adamant, and again, he also gets to light up objective number 1 as well. 21 minutes in, 1 objective for 2 of our runners, 0 for others, but we have a heck of a lot of knowledge here, and speaking of knowledge, PK is showing us that our next key item is the Rat Tail, so Dwarf is in fact required.
There you go. So you're going to have to get through that Ogopogo, so if you bounced off it the first time, you might have to come back.
And that's a really good question, Side. So let's put that to you. You're one of the other runners who saw that Ogopogo. Oh, and we're actually going to see what the other sparkle is first. So we have Pale Dim, Ogopogo out, Wyvern.
Nope.
Plague. Very nice and easy. Kane just again Avenger going burr. But yeah, that's the good question. We do have these sirens. How soon do you go after that? After that Dwarf Castle check, after you bounced off it, so like how quick are you gonna bounce back to it?
Well, I think for me, depending on the party, with this party and the Avenger, I probably would have popped the sirens almost immediately. Just because I know with proper anchoring, that fight is completely safe. It's just if you see it the first time and you're not prepared, and you have like 1.5 characters and not really any good edge weaponry, then maybe that's a little bit sketchy. But after sirens, go at it immediately.
Very true. I appreciate and respect that. Also, PK opening the Flame Dog chest, getting an Artemis bow for his troubles. You'd love to see it in like any other seed, but here, kind of a bit of a womp. I think he may have been looking for another ninja sword, maybe even a cane weapon. Because Avenger glitching on a white spear or a dragoon spear, very, very fun.
And on Rybon's screen, we see CPU at the Kainatsu spot, which is, well, it's fine. We got through it, but you don't like to see that when you haven't saved and you have Avenger Cane. So Rybon's sort of counting his blessings a little bit. That Porum, I don't think we take the Porum. Nope.
I agree, but also if you didn't clench a little bit when you saw that second the attacker node go down, you're lying to me. I look at the booth here, I'm just sitting going, "Oh, buddy." It's always that how much HP does this have left moment.
All right, so speaking of going at more difficult spots, we see Y2 Sky taking his Quack Kid and 2 Zerkers and going up to the top of Lower Babel. We'll see what's up there.
Spoon is your reward for doing Baron. Edward is looking a little bit more attractive because I believe the Spoon flag is in fact on.
Spoon is in fact on. We did see an Edward that was Dwarf Castle. I think only PK has seen that check.
We also have the Edward that is in the bed.
Oh, Sand Ruby, my bad. Who was that dwarf? I don't remember.
No, he was also there too. He's in two places this seed.
Was he? Fiery, you want to confirm?
I'm getting words in our ear that in fact Dwarf Castle did also have it. So yep, Rybon popping eggs as you'd expect. I assume there's going to be a dwarf check in his future while Wild 2 Sky is going through this elements fight. That is kind of a fight you don't mind seeing up at the top. Kind of slow fight, a fair bit of HP, but with the ATB keeper setting and this Kane kind of dishing out 1800, you just really don't care.
Yeah, it's very safe. This is a very safe fight.
this entire this Avenger Kane is probably honestly, I'm gonna say this, he is more beneficial than what the Edge was. Like Edge has got more HP right now and got a little bit more agility. But aside from that, I honestly think Kane has been the actual MVP of this seed so far.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like Avenger Kane is a very good character. It is like he's very broken for this point in the game. He starts to fall off a little bit later, but anyway. So remember that rat tail we got from, I want to say dwarf. Well, the hook, the other component of that is the Lugae spot. So here we are. You need to do both. If you chased the like pop the sirens early and go after the hard spots, you get rewarded, and at least in this seed.
So that means if my routing is correct, then, in assuming everything, then we have it's rat tail or the ordeal spot that's gonna have our Luca key, because everything else is terminating at this point.
That's well, we don't
Harp
have the
too,
pan
harp
yet.
too.
Yeah. So the harp could be pan, could be a whole bunch of other stuff.
This is true. We could have a nice little keychain to get the last of our items here, or we could have just just it sitting out in the open. But yeah, the Luca key is kind of the only thing we're hunting for right now, because up in the booth we're in no mode or we know where everything else is.
The pan, we still do not have the pan. I guess.
True.
Yeah. This is interesting. Very interesting set of checks here.
I think if I had the choice right now, I would gamble most on ordeals, because it is going to be the one place that everyone's going to put off to the end. Nobody wants to do ordeals. That's 3 boss fights for 1 key item check. And if it pays off, it's huge. And if it doesn't, well, I mean, at that point, you're just kind of like hoping you route slightly better than other people anyways. But I think the gamble is almost always worth it there.
Yeah, and Possum Morpheus also pointing out in chat, this tower key that YT Sky is about to
Cannot, actually. This is the Sand Ruby.
This was the Sand Ruby?
99% sure.
Because
Escort
because Escort did that early. Yep. Very good.
There we are.
Hey, you still got it.
I still pay attention, I promise. Keep me in, coach.
So Escrunt going back and actually taking the package out of Antlion Cave. Works, he's on 7 key items, so not quite at the 10 that you'd want for double XP, but I don't know if you really want to grind on this flag set. Maybe you steal a couple of sirens, but
I think the extra couple levels will make things safe for what we find down in Sealed Cave, because we still have a lot of our mages left. Like, we have Sandy, Cindy, Mindy there at the very least. Who else? We have a Wyvern that could be there still. That's just off the top of my head. Golbez is still kicking around. Thank you, Fiery. Then we also have the All Gauntlet, which that's less of a pain, but the more levels, the faster that fight goes anyways. And 1 or 2 eggs could cut you off a couple of inputs.
Also, I only just now realized that PK's Edge is named Dathis. There you go.
My boy still has his heart for me. And again, I'm still saying that there's some shenanigans with the admins who do not let he and I commentate together. It's conspiracy. We got exactly 1 time when he and I ran 1 thing together, and then no one has ever let us commentate together since. I'm just saying.
Didn't you also restream and track that one?
Look, that was a very fun day for us.
Scala is saying that you should sign up for the same race then.
We have. It's a conspiracy.
Oh. Anyway, so we're memeing on comms, but our racers are retracing their steps, each other's steps a little bit. A couple folks at Fabul, PK's at Baron. Rybon is now popping his sirens. One thing I probably should have thought more about is we were asking where are these sirens coming from? I think they actually came from the Freedom Kit.
That makes sense. I would I would like to go and double check that way back in the beginning, but that might have been where we'd seen them because everyone else seems to have them. Yeah, because Escrunt has them there too. It most likely was a Freedom Kit, so yeah. PK gonna be picking up his other item here, and again, it's just really interesting to see where we head off to next, because there's two big checks left out in the wild. If I was again running this, I'd be more inclined to do ordeals than anything else. But it's that rat tail is just so very enticing. If when Y2 Sky and Rybon get there, PK just missing the hook part, so going to be doing that entire tower check here. Going to get his two key items, and then probably also going to raise the hovercraft and get that rat tail turned in.
Yeah, I think we're actually just about right. There's the rat tail turn in, and then it's kind of just twin harp and ordeals, and then we'll see. So we'll see what breaks. Right, something has to give here, and we'll see what the opening, what the sometimes we call it the unwall is. Harumph suggesting it's ordeals. We all know. Yes, completely unbiased. Harumph is certainly not biased in that suggestion.
But you see, when Harumph rolls a seed and you have a twin harp really early on, especially given to you for free, you gotta check it. Let the memes go through. If you don't follow through on the memes of certain restreamers, you're not following it right. Come on, guys, you gotta check the harp.
Yeah, well, Rybon tosses the Edward, I think, or tosses Edward. So speaking of what's the unwall? Escrunt's going to show us ordeals. Eventually, Mom's going to be a little bit of a pain, but we'll eventually find out. Interesting. I didn't see. I guess he took the Sid from Zot, which is an interesting little bit of divergence. PK replaced his Rydia with a Porum. Also interesting divergence.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking people might just keep the Rydia and let her do her thing, and then let our two other guys carry through. But this is probably the most interesting different levels of divergence. Because again, we have four distinct parties now: Rydia in one, Sid in one, Palom, and then Porum in the other one. Like we have so much. It's just so interesting. Usually, you see parties that are the exact same, but I guess with the max 3, it's where you see more divergence in what you really want to keep. It's not quite as like permajoin divergent, but it's still very interesting.
I can, maybe if we remember to ask, PK might have picked Porum up for slightly better anchoring, but maybe it was for oh, sorry, I got distracted. That's back attack Wyvern. There you go. All right, Veil, we're done. It's over. Okay. Anyway, Porum. Okay, so PK I guess didn't keep Porum up, but Porum can have.
Kane says no. You don't get the blood.
Okay, that's fair. Porum is useful for Bacchus, in terms of casting Berserk, but maybe not if she never learns it.
Yeah, as I say, she needs a little bit of XP before we can make that happen. But no, that's probably about the only reason why I agree that I would take Rydia versus Porum versus Rydia. But it's an interesting choice between the two. But yeah, that Kane just looked at Wyvern and was like, "Hey, let me show you what Mega Flare looks like."
Yo. So we had a Sparkle and some Roby back sprite as the statues for today. And then on Escrunt's side, we only get a pink tail from Ordeals, guarded by Valvalis.
So I'm going to say that Harp's the play here. Although that rat tail
could be rat tail.
Gonna see,
and Rybon's going to show us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a really interesting thing, is seeing what we got there. And Valvalis, yeah, a couple of swings, absolutely gone. Uh, yeah, let's see what we got here from Rybon's check.
That's the
Ooh,
Luca
that's
key.
Luca.
That's required.
How great would it be is if we get Luca key here, and then it's Vanilla Darkness, and then the pan is hidden behind Harp. I'm here for that.
Ooh, that would be interesting. I always do like music, but that is, I think Rabon is our first racer to get to 3 objectives cleared. We'll see. It could be pan here. So
Don't ruin my dreams.
we might be finished pretty quickly.
Yeah, 36 minutes in, and we're just looking for one key item, and we're going through either the longest check in the sense that music can take a little bit of time with that cutscene, or the hardest check in the sense that we have the hardest boss fight we're going to be fighting today. And we are having divergence, so we're going to find out one way or the other. Escarunt, first person to be checking music, while PK gets his hook and is heading above ground immediately.
Y2 Sky also checking music for us, so we'll have a nice little double feature.
Yeah, Escarunt and Y2 Sky basically almost in lockstep, which is fantastic, while PK is going to be raising up his hovercraft. I'm really hoping that we have, again, our second touch of vanilla, and then a little bit of a chain getting into having to do music, just to appease our restreamer.
Appease? I think I think that word does not mean what you think it means.
I said what I said.
You said what you said.
I've been threatened with mute, and if I'm silenced, you know what's going on. I'm here against the establishment. While Sealed Cave Alt Gauntlet incoming, that would be fantastic. Although I know that the true fantastic part here would be Alt Gauntlet here at music, just so we have the most that we can get. My hopes and dreams are dashed. Harp is not required.
Jet
but,
Seed.
We are going to be quiet because music's about to come up. And that was, I believe, music C from Dr. Mario. I could be corrected, but that does say that Y2 Sky and Escarunt get just the Legend Sword, whereas Rybon does get his pan, and you see him running down, whereas PK is right behind him, just about to do that D-Lunar fight. We fought every moon boss on Earth, as a matter of fact.
Yep, we got all 5 lunar sparkles. So this this fight, we were saying, oh, what bosses would be sort of rude, and we were thinking mages. You forget that D-Lunars are also mages, because if you physically attack them with fight, they start throwing virus at you, and at that spot, virus does a lot.
This is true.
PK, in fact, says, you know what? I'm a reset. So we'll see what his play is. Rybon, well, let's call it calculated. Finished the last D-Lunar with Avenger Kane, but it was close. He needed that last hit. The Spoon Dart was a very good choice.
Yeah, those fire attacks do not mess around if you're taking 10% or 20% of your HP each shot. You can only take that for so long. Although PK does have another option in here. It looks like we're going, oh yeah, that's waiting. We're going straight Lunar Frog time here, and I'm 100% here for this.
Yeah, this is the other option. Instead of trying to out damage the D-Lunars, what you can do is set up your walls, and then you wait a few turns, and the D-Lunars will bounce breath off the walls onto themselves, bypassing the boss bed. Meanwhile, congratulations to Rybon, who is our winner this seed with a time of 41:34, finishing at Sheila, returning the pan. So GG's to Rybon. He is, in fact, the first person in the entire race to win. So first on Restream and in the race overall. So congrats to Rybon. We'll see if he's going to join us for an interview soon.
Indeed, big GG's, great routing from him. Fantastic options that he chose. And oh look, we on PK side we even have a little Frogridia there. And as we're talking about some Frogridias, we have Rybon joining us. GG's Rybon, your first place finish. That was a really well executed seed.
Thanks. Yeah, I guess I kind of got routed it by fading Cave Magnes and Ordeal both. So yeah, better lucky than good sometimes.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So you have Hook with Rat Tail, which is obviously an objective. You have a very free early Harp, and you have Ordeals. So what drew you more towards just doing your objective versus saying, you know what if we play a long shot and do either Ordeals or that Harp check instead?
I just feel like chase your objectives for the most part. I've been burned too many times by not chasing my objectives. For example, in Adamant Cup, if I have something like do 3 objectives on the moon and I clear the full Earth, I'm likely to lose because just so often you see objectives chain into more objectives. So, and that's exactly what happened here tonight. I faded Ordeals and Harp early on because I had objectives to do, Castle Baron, Tower of Zot, and then I had more attractive checks, and in doing Tower, in doing Dwarf Castle, because I was already down there and I wanted the experience as well. So I just ended up fading those, and it ended up being the correct play tonight, but won't always be, unfortunately.
So you said better to be lucky than good sometimes. Tell us about your D-Lunars fight.
I had my finger over the reset button. I wasn't expecting the Avenger Kane to get a third attack in, but he did. I quickly moved my finger away from the reset button because I fully expected to wipe there. And yeah, very, very, very close. I knew I had the spoon still in reserve. I saw that Eddie come out of Dwarf Castle. I'm like, sure, I could take the Eddie, but it's too late in the game, and the Ready has just been so valuable this far, I'm not going to replace her. Let me just throw the spoon and see what happens, and we got a little lucky, and I'm also very happy that I bought those Drain Spears in Dwarf Castle as well, because throwing a 1 pretty much made the difference in that fight.
Very heads-up play. Nice work.
Thanks.
So one of the other things is there was a fair bit of divergence in the party comp. So we had access to both the twins. We had a Yang. We also had a Sid. what made you take the Sid versus? Sorry, what made you keep your starting Iridia versus, say, maybe swapping out her for somebody else?
Well, I know in this flag set we don't have to go do really, really high agility spots like the Moon, like the Fame Arch, like the Giant. I still always like keeping an anchor in reserve, and Iridia is the perfect anchor, just based at her, I think, 4 agility when she starts. And I knew that while I didn't have to do a lot of high agility spots, I did have to do Sealed Cave. And if there is something really nasty there, I am really going to wish that I had some kind of anchor. And it really came in clutch tonight because there were D-Lunars right there. And if I were not RA1 on Kane and Edge both, that would have been a wipe easily. And at the same time, too, having those Cure 3s early that I think I found in Troya pretty much meant that I didn't really need a White Mage, and the Avenger also giving Kane Perma Berserk also meant I didn't really need a White Mage. I probably would have traded out the Iridia for Atella had I found one, just because he came with, Blink and out of the gate, and Exit. But I eventually bought Exits too, so hit utility diminished a little bit.
So just as a quick note, GG's to PK, who has just finished with a time of 46:17, coming in second overall in the race. So first 2 restreamed racers, also first 2 finishers.
GG's to PK, of course.
Big GG's to him as well. We're going to see if we can get him in for an interview following you. But yeah, Rybon, so what is your favorite part of this flag set here? Like, they're nice quick seeds. Speaking of quick, our third place finisher just came in right quick after. 46 minutes and 51 seconds. So yeah, the GG's to Tybalt, who has that third place spot. But yeah, not glancing over the question. What is your favorite part about these quick seeds right now, for the community race?
This is actually the first time I played Edge versus the Blue Planet. I had to brush up on the seeds beforehand, but what I really like about it is that though you are pretty much forced to clear the Blue Planet, and you have a lot of quick, easy checks, you have to make some very difficult decisions for your party. When you're limited to 3 party members, and you do happen to want an anchor like I do, and you don't happen to find a curse ring to make it, easily turned on and off, you have to make some rough decisions. And normally I would think that an optimal party in this situation would be maybe like a utility mage like Tella, a white mage, and Edge. But, we had 2 Zerkers today, well, at least 1 Zerker and a thrower and an anchor, and it worked out. So I do like that aspect of the flag set.
Did you feel sort of unhappy with, okay, you get the pan, you squeak your way through D-Lunars, and then you had to walk out of Seal Cave? Don't you wish your Iridia had just a little bit more agility?
So I was pretty much, thinking to myself as entering the fight there, maybe I should let Iridia get HP here. Maybe I should let Iridia get, some levels. Sure, I'll have to sit through her learning a million spells, but the learning of Warp might work out. So if the fight allows it, I'll probably pick her up, cast Warp a couple times to save a little bit of time on the way out. But D-Lunars did not provide that opportunity. If it was anyone else, if it was, say, Mylon and Friends, or if it was anyone else who was still outstanding, maybe Kaipo Guards, definitely would have picked Iridia up.
Very good. Well, Dathus, do you have any more questions for Rybon?
Nope, just again, GG's fantastic routing, nicely well played, and congrats on your first place finish for tonight.
Sure, thank you very much, Dathus Scythe, for commentating, Harum for rolling this fantastic seed where Harp was not required, Fiery Blizzard for pushing all the buttons, and apparently I have a very long Choose Your Owner DLC to go to right after this, so let's knock it out. Hopefully it doesn't take an hour or 2. But thank you all. Have a good night.
Take care.
And again, our first place finisher on stream and also overall, Rybon, 41 minutes, 34 seconds. GG's to him, and we will see if we can get PK joined in. Hold on, wait a second. Is any of the admins listening?
Oh,
are they gonna shut down the restream? What's up, PK? How you doing, my friend? GG's on your second place finish.
Yeah, thanks. I'm super stoked that I lost to Rybon again for like the 1000th straight time. No, that was fun. I managed to pick, I think, mostly the right things.
Yeah, you did a lot of the right routing. The only obvious, like, really out there choice that you chose was to do. I think you did ordeals, wasn't it?
No, I didn't do ordeals.
Yeah, you had most of the right routing, and just, I guess, sequencing slightly different. Also, speaking of different, you had everyone on stream actually had a different party in the end. You went with the Porum. What was the pickup of the Porum versus keeping Radio?
Oh, well, I assumed basically that the only thing that was going to be a problem would be something rude at Sealed Cave. So I would rather have just had an anchor, and at that point, Edge. Like, I didn't need a Zergcaster because I had an Avenger Kane. So I was going to see who was at Luca Cave. But I would rather beat RA1 for Luca Cave than anything else.
Yeah, that Luca Cave. You get to see. We saw the reset out of it. You looked at those D-Lunars. What was your thought when you saw them with your Avenger Kane in tow?
Yeah, I was like, well, this is fine. I need breath strats to work, and B, I really don't want. It's not like I'm gonna live a bunch of virus casts with Avenger Kane. But it's not like I really couldn't take the Avenger off until I knew, because the amount of damage it was going to put out relative to whatever else I had to equip on Kane was just so much greater. So it was like, okay, Golbaz, Wyvern, D-Lunars, and I'm going to have to reset out and reformulate.
This is true. And additionally, we have had 4 more finishers within the last few minutes of us talking. Cubs Rule 21, 49.56 at 4th place. Microkorgs 5th place with 50 minutes and 11 seconds. Y2 Sky, as we see on stream, our 6th place finisher overall at 51 minutes and 13 seconds. And then Flurry 14, the Flurry of Blizzards at 51.44. GG's to all of them.
Thank you for clarifying.
Hey, I gotta get it right. I know. I have to.
There's just a U. It's a U-R-O-Y. That's how it's pronounced and spelled. But that was a fun seed. I mean, 45 minutes isn't your typical Freen community race, but thank you, everyone. Thanks, Rumpy. I named Edward Rumpy. I'm sure you saw that I named Edge Dathis, although I'm kind of sad that Kane ended up carrying all of it. But thank you, Scythe Marshall, as well, and Fiery Blizzard, and yeah, you got more people to talk to. So Dathis, great to see you again.
Always a pleasure to be back, and great to have you in the booth. We do need to get comms, you and I, again sometime soon, if they'll ever let us.
We'll get there. We'll try. I'll do some behind the scenes work, maybe.
Wonderful.
I'll bribe some restream leads. We'll see. We'll see what we get. All right, you have a good night.
Have a good night.
Again, PK, 2nd place finisher, 46 minutes, 17 seconds. GG's to him. And we've also had our 8th place finisher at 53 minutes and 38 seconds.
So we are now joined by Y2 Sky. GG's. Congrats on your 6th place finish. How are you feeling about the seed?
A little bit of technical issues with Y2 Sky's audio. We will get them talking shortly. In the interim, Dipwood has finished in 9th place with 54 minutes and 2 seconds. GG's to them. Again, the finishes, as we see, coming in fast and furious. I'm really interested to see who did certain checks versus others, like who went up ordeals, who did pretty much everything, who full cleared the blue planet before doing that Luca Cave. That's just going to be an interesting thing overall for every run of that plate tonight.
And another fun little note: Escrunt is a noted looter, big proponent of picking up items out of chests. Picked up a Zeus gauntlet from Sealed Cave, and he also found Bacchus wines in the Cave Eblin shop. So he is taking 3 Zerkers down the Sealed Cave The D-Lunars, there may be some Lunar Frog strats. I hope he does not try to zerk them down. Anyway, Y2 Sky, how are you doing? Are you here? Are you with us?
Yep, doing it now. Sorry about that.
Nah, no worries. GG's on your 6th place finish. How do you feel about the seed?
It wasn't a bad seed at all. Magma Start made it interesting. Once I saw that, I was pretty much determined to do none of the game with 2 short swords if I could possibly help it.
Yeah, definitely a fair play. Edge's starting weaponry is okay for the overworld, but you can always find better. So your party composition, you chose to take the Palom, correct?
Yeah, I went for the Palom as soon as I saw him at the tower was on.
So why was that? Was that you wanted Quake? Because we did have a couple Sirens.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I see a Palom on this flag set where the Freedom Kit is the starting kit, and it usually has a Siren and you can Quake pretty quick. So Palom is high up there in my list of characters. Maybe a little bit of overkill. Avenger Kane was kind of the MVP here, but figured I would just try to DPS my way through the seed.
Makes sense. Avenger Kane was the MVP for, well, pretty much everyone. Although we did just see, I think Artemis Bow, Artemis Arrow, Sid take out the D-Lunars single-handedly on Escrunt's side. So that was interesting little tech there. So how do you feel about the party size 3, right? So you had to make these party composition choices, and you sort of knew Avenger Kane was going to be there, but did you ever feel restricted by the party?
Really, just depending on what situations I ended up in, I could have found myself hurting for a white mage, but I figured with all the damage, there wasn't really that bad of a spot anywhere. Rubicante at the top of the tower might have been a little tough, although I'd already had the Quake, it might have been a little slow. But other than that, I wasn't too worried about it because I had so much damage. That's kind of that's the strat I was going for.
Yeah, and that makes sense, especially with, you mentioned the Sirens. Get yourself big damage numbers as quickly as possible, then you can start sort of sweeping the seed. Dathis, did you have any questions for Y2 Sky?
No. Just GG's. Again, so Y2 Sky, this is your first time running this flag set, or do you run it on the Monday night as well?
No, I run it in the club, so I was pretty used to it. I kind of knew what I wanted to do. It's the first time I've encountered one with a Magma Start, I think, so that was a little bit different. And being a community seed and on Restream, that influenced some of my routing decisions too. But other than that, yeah, I thoroughly enjoy this flag set.
So is one of those decisions choosing to take the Twin Harp check?
Yeah, so at the point I hit there, I'm basically at the 3 checks that I try to fade in this format: Twin Harp, Ordeals, or Dwarf. And at the point I hit, I'm like, heck it, I'm on Restream. Let's go music.
Yeah, very reasonable. So can you tell us those 3 checks that you fade? Is it only because they're slow, or because their Dwarf is sometimes more difficult? Tell us, is that why, or do you have other options or reasons?
Usually it's the speed. Where Cecil is restricted and Tella is usually good enough if you find enough damage. Tella's usually good enough with just his default spell set. So getting out of the 3 fights and ordeals is something I like to do in this flag set. And then music is its usual length. But like I said, that single decision there came down to, okay, I'm on the overworld, I'm on Restream, let's try music. Another day I might have gone to Dwarf.
Right, fair enough. I guess I have one more question for you. You've been running these flags as in the Async Club. Do they often turn out this jetty?
I don't think so. I tend to find more of like the 14 to 15 key item range, and I've done a couple of 17 out of 17s. Yeah, this one in particular had quite the chain. In fact, when I saw the dot duns coming in, it started becoming pretty clear. I'm like, oh yeah, this is one giant chain of objectives.
Makes sense. Very good. Dathis, any last questions?
Actually, I do have just one. So we did have what we call what we like to call in the community the God routing, where you have Harp into Zot into Baron. Was it just the length of the check that made you not want to do it in the perfect routing because music just takes much longer, or what kind of like steers you away from that?
I was trying to do that on like Adamant Cup. I tried to do that a lot. This flag set and the situation that I ended up in, my thought was early magma. I had the tower key. Okay, I've got the palm I want. Let's go. I had the tower key. Let's go to the underground and let's go to the tower. And then if the tower doesn't pan out, we'll still take Shield 1.
Right, makes sense. Also, pun appreciated, even if it may or may not have been intentional. So I have no further questions. So thank you again for letting us watch you, Y2 Sky. GG's on a very well-run race.
Yep, thanks. Thanks, Dathis the Sky, and thanks, Ron, for the restream, and Fiery Blizzard for pushing the buttons. Tip my cap to the trackers in this format because you're doing just a K-main only with 4 runners is a busy night for the tracker.
Yeah, I have zero envy for Fiery Blizzard tonight.
Yeah, huge shout outs to Fire Blizzard for keeping us honest on some of the checks that we didn't quite catch, but they definitely did.
Anyways, have yourself a great rest of your evening, or whatever time it is for you.
So it's getting close to bedtime here, so y'all have a great night.
Cheers and GG's again. All right, so we're down to the last little check. Woo, there we go. We saw the globes start to come out, but Edge finished off CPU at the Baron Castle Throne. So Escrunt will be finishing up his last objective shortly. Just has to go through a little bit of a cutscene and then we're good. Fiery Blizzard mentioning in chat, the magma key start does not help with tracking. That is certainly true. The more divergence there is on a 4-person race, the more you're sort of have the eyes wide open, sort of frantically looking at all the screens, trying to make sure you don't miss anything.
Yeah, I do admit that is the best and worst part is where it keeps you honest, keeps you going. And speaking of going, we do have a few people who are no longer going in this race. Armitage is finished in 9th place with 55 minutes and 9 seconds. And then we also have Warling in 10th place with 1 hour, 1 minute, 33 seconds. And as you see on screen right now, Escrunt, official time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, 46 seconds for your 11th place finisher. GG's to him, and we're going to get him drugged down here for an interview in just a hot second.
It's a very interesting set of range of times so far. We always have a variety of skill levels and routing decisions and a little bit of luck. I see we do have Escrunt in joining us in the restream booth. So Escrunt, how do you feel about that seed?
Well, I gambled and I lost. That's about what I can say about this right now.
That is pretty fair. You did both Ordeals and Twin Harp. How'd you feel about the back attack Wyvern?
What back attack Wyvern? I blinked and suddenly there wasn't a boss there.
Yeah, your Avenger Kane decided that you didn't need to see the Mega Nuke. So the other
really, yeah, like really, I wish that I had remembered to check the free key item at least, because Avenger Kane would just have cleaned up a lot of the things that I had seen early in the seed, as we saw throughout the rest of that seed. So.
Yeah, I saw you checking Bedward at about the 17, 18 minute mark, and I said, "Oh, you're not going to be very happy."
No, well, like up to that point, I had only done things that I was reasonably confident that the early party could take anyway. It just would have made the things that I did after that fact a little bit faster.
Yeah, it always feels bad to get the Earth Crystal from Bedward not within the first 5 minutes of the seed, but it happens.
Yeah. Oh well.
So tell us a little bit about your D-Lunars fight.
So I knew, generally speaking, having done a lot of seeds on this flag set, there's two ways whatever fight turns up there are going to go. Either it's either you need to set up carefully and make a lot of decisions going into that, or you just let someone demolish everything. And I was very lucky to have already Sid there just on hand to demolish everything.
Yeah, the Artie Sid was pretty good. We saw other strats. We saw some lunar frogs from some of our racers. We saw a spoon dart plus a very lucky Avenger Kane finishing it off from Rybon. And then we saw Artie Sid. How'd you feel about that Zeus gauntlet that you picked up?
I normally don't open chests on the way down Sealed Cave. I just wanted to see if I could get a better weapon for Edge somewhere along the line other than that master that was out of the force. So that Zeus gauntlet was an extremely lucky pull.
Yeah. I don't quite remember where you found the Artemis arrows, though.
The Artie arrows were from the Pink Tail turn-in. Which I was seriously considering at the time that I got that from Top of Power, whether or not I wanted to keep that. And I figured if I needed to turn in the Rat Tail anyway, that whatever turns up there just might make the difference in something later in the seed. Which it turns out it did, of course.
Turns out it definitely did, yes. Very good. So what was your thought process about taking the Sid? Because you had the opportunity to take other mage types for anchoring purposes potentially, or for damage. Say you could have taken the Palom for Quake. Why did you take Sid?
There's actually a relatively simple reason behind this. Like if a dwarf axe turns up, Sid of course is going to make the perfect anchor. If not, he makes an acceptable anchor. But the most important thing is that he was going to hold that rune axe that I had found fairly early on, if nothing else. So if something like Magus Sisters turns up in Sealed Cave, he can just demolish them as well. He's proven very good at that in my past attempts on this flag set.
Makes sense. So speaking of past attempts at this flag set, you mentioned you've run this flag set many times, partially because you are the creator of this flag set.
That is correct.
Tell us a little bit about your, I guess, design process for Edge versus the Blue Planet. Give us a little bit of insight about what this flag set is.
I'm glad that I get the chance to explain this. The inspiration for this flag set was actually an off-season Pink Puff async rolled by CS Radical. This is where the party size 3, Sirens, a few other things like Backrow, I think, came in that flag set. I believe the original intent when CS Radical was coming up with this flag set was to give you Edge to start with, mainly on the premise that he can steal Sirens or other items for you. But the way that seed played was basically, several people described it afterwards as Edge blows up K-Main, and so that gave me the idea to just to work the flag set now into what you see today. And it's very breezy. It plays. It's very good at teaching people how to compose your party properly, because you've got very limited party composition. And I specifically chose the objectives to make you route through most, if not all, of the key items to do through this. The original seed this was based on had much simpler objectives than this. I believe Package and Sand Ruby were two of the objectives in the original flag set this was based on. The reason Sealed Cave is in the flag set, it's the most difficult K-main check. But also in that original seed that inspired this flag set, believe it was Mega Sisters in Sealed Cave. Some very difficult boss was there in any case. It might have been Ogopogo now that I think about it, but it basically said you can't rely on Edge to anchor absolutely everything and expect to get away with it. So one more agility anchoring lesson to work into the seed, if you will.
Right, yes. Especially because you only have 3 party members. Do you leave someone down forever? Do you keep someone who's slow? Do you, like, what do you do? Do you YOLO anchor and expect, maybe they'll be fine anyway? Lots of really good questions to be asking.
Yeah, like that works out surprisingly often, actually. But if that didn't work for some reason, I was fully prepared to go and pick up one of the Edwards I had seen to anchor for that.
Right, makes sense. Dathis, what questions do you have for Esgrunt?
I think you actually managed to nail every one of the ones that I was asking. And again, yeah, this is a very fantastic quick seed or quick style of seeds. Very fast and very, very fun looking. Edge ripping up the overworld, as you said, and Kane backing him up this time. Probably one of the most entertaining things that I've definitely seen. Kudos on the tweaking it just enough to bring this little bit of extra club with it, and these fantastic community races that we've got from this week.
Yeah, I've been very happy with how these have been turning out. I'm sure these have made for excellent restreaming material. And while I'm sure most of our viewers are probably aware of this already, just in case there are anyone who is not, this flag set is the basis for an async club that I am running, also titled Edge versus the Blue Planet. If you are interested in racing more seats like this on a weekly cadence, feel free to join the Discord. Poke your nose around the club's channels, and we will be happy to point you in the right direction for how to sign up for that.
Yeah, show up to the Discord, stop by Clubhouse General, and ask away. We're a very friendly bunch, and we'll be more than happy to help you figure out what's going on. All right, and with that, GG's again, Esgrunt. Nice work today.
Thank you, and thank you to yourself and to Dathis for the commentary, to Harm for the restream. Harp was not required for once, and to Fiery Blizzard, I believe, for tracking this time around. And to everyone in chat who's watching, I'm sure it was a wonderful viewing experience.
Awesome. Well, have yourself a good rest of your evening, Esgrunt. GG's again.
Thank you, thank you.
Well,
Again.
Dathis.
Yeah, here we are at the end. Again, that was Esgrunt, 11th place, 1 hour, 3 minutes, 46 seconds. That is actually going to do it for you and I tonight, though. Nice quick race. Great way to come back to the community. The Jet is still strong in the seeds, I see, and I'm here for it. But that is not all for us for today. We are going to be going and raiding Dr. Cossack, who's going to be playing one of the latest Pink Puff League asyncs. So be careful for that. For those of you who are sticking around, watch out for that so you don't get spoiled. Additionally, we do have tomorrow at 3 p.m. we have Baron's Hero's Journey. It's going to be on one of our free enterprise channels. Make sure you check that out. It's going to be on the Prime free enterprise, so make sure you check that out. And additionally, make sure you check it out because we have Muppets in Space and Scala Kitty who are going to be doing your comms there. It's going to be, you thought easy listening tonight? Believe me, that's going to put us to shame.
Oh yes, that will be a very good restream tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're like me and you don't live in Eastern Time, you always have to do the conversion. Make sure you get it right. Don't want to miss it. It is, I think Hero's Journey is, I want to say Rosa tomorrow.
Yes. Best Waifu going to be giving us a little bit of a runaround. Is going to be fantastic. Additionally, so again, we want to say thank you, those of us who are still here. Our runners tonight, Rybon, Y2 Sky, Esgrunt, PK4787. Make sure you give those guys a follow. Fantastic runners, great people in the community, and runners of other games as well. Additionally, Scythe Marshall, Harumph, and Fire Blizzard, you gotta give them follows too. They are fantastic. My co-commentator, keeping me grounded and keeping me informed from the time that I've been gone. You've all been fantastic, and it was great with you guys again tonight.
Yeah, and thanks for agreeing to get back into the booth with us, Dathis. It's good to have you here. Be sure to follow Dathis as well. With that, I think we're going to be off to Dr. Cossack. So remember, no spoilers or you get the bonk.